All right, and welcome back to A Dash of Life. I'm your host, Dash. Tonight we'll be bringing on Jarrod. Um, like I said last week, sometimes you get to interview some of the most amazing people. Um, and with that, I've met through friends some amazing people. So that's what I like about this job. It's not just, it's just about meeting people and getting to experience some of the things that they're doing for their life. So I'm going to be bringing Jarrod on here. We'll be good to go. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Monday night. Monday Night Football coming up here in just a, and there we are connecting. And hello, sir.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
I am fantastic.
So I'm pretty sure for most people, their entire life as a kid, they always wanted to do some form of professional wrestling, whether they watched it and wrestled with their brothers or sisters, or just wanted to grow up and be in the big leagues. You kind of get to live that dream, do you not?
I absolutely get to live that dream. And I'm very, very, very lucky and blessed to have actually been, I should say, pulled into it, really. It wasn't anything that I sought after. Um, it was a lot of circumstance that led me in the right direction, and doors that opened and stepped through on that opportunity.
That's pretty awesome. Um, I know there's not a whole lot you can obviously tell us about some of the things that go behind the scenes, but um, what's some of the things that you have to prepare yourself for with some of the egos and some of the stars that you've probably run into?
I'll be very honest. Egos and I haven't really dealt with a lot of that. I'm very fortunate enough to say that I haven't dealt with people who were too full of themselves. You know, I think everybody kind of has their own secrets, their own demons, whatever it is that they deal with. I mean, everybody does, right? And
Absolutely, absolutely.
I take pride in being adaptable to working with people. So whether they show it or not, I'm still going to do my best to kind of work through it, if you will. Um, as far as preparing in general, though, I will say that I think refereeing is one of the most underrated physically fit activities that people do not understand about professional wrestling. So I spend a lot of time trying to train myself and keep myself as fit as I possibly can to make sure that I can meet the demands of what these guys are going through.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, just moving around the ring with these guys and having to keep up with them. I mean, I've seen a lot of referees, and that's a strenuous job, and I haven't, unfortunately, have not got to see you referee yet, so maybe that will change soon. But um, so you keep up on a good regiment to keep up with these guys.
I do. I try to get 1 to 2 serious, hardcore kind of workouts in per week. And then whenever I can fit it into my other schedule with everything else that I've got going on, I'll try to do a little bit of cardio. I always do something in the morning for about 5 to 10 minutes just to keep the blood pumping, keep myself somewhat active. Time under tension, just doing a couple of sets of push-ups first thing in the morning, it does make a huge difference. And the reason being, when it comes to refereeing, I always make this comment. The wrestlers go out there and they may have more than one match that night, but most times it's one match. Whereas the referee will have several matches. Sometimes they have to referee the whole entire show. So there's a lot more up and down, a lot of movement. Particularly my style, I like to be very engaged with the people in the ring as well as engaged with the audience. So I'm having to move in, move out, be quick on my feet. And it takes its toll, particularly if you're driving 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, between venues. In between, you don't get very much time to rest either.
Man, that you live an exciting life, and that's got to be. I've always. I mean, I wrestled in high school and grade school, but to actually be out there with some amazing people, and it does take a great talent to be a professional wrestler. So my hat's off to you, brother. That's an amazing job. What is who are some of, if you can, I mean, you're with the NWA, is that correct right now? Is that who you
Correct.
are?
Correct.
Who are
Go ahead.
who are some of the top stars that you get to deal with, and have you seen anybody from other indie leagues and WWE or AEW or whatever's out there now?
So, yes, to all those questions. I'm very fortunate. I've always been a big fan of NWA, and I think Billy does a fantastic job with bringing in just a tremendous amount of talent. Very humble, very caring, very loving talent. So I don't think there's really one person over the top that is any better than any of the other people. I click with certain people a little bit better. I was very fortunate enough from day one to work with Trevor Murdoch, and he and I have developed somewhat of a good friendship. Pope, me and him, we get along really, really well. And even prior to that, I had the fortunate opportunity to work with Camille before she even made it to the NWA. We did a lot of stuff on the indie circuit. Right. She's always been very, very nice to me. Tom, in meeting Tom, he's been great. So everybody I get to work with there, it sounds so generic because I think a lot of people say it about everything, but it's very much like a family there. We're all out there to work with one another, to make one another better, and to make the product and Billy's vision what it is. So yeah. I'm very truly blessed there. I've got to work a lot with Gangrel here in South Carolina, who's been one of my favorites since I was a little kid. I always joke, Ultimate Warrior got me hooked.
Right.
Papa Shango kept me in, and then people like Gangrel, those characters, they just kind of kept going throughout the Attitude Era and everything, and I really like that. So he's helped me a lot with my my development as a referee, and even just wrestling psychology, little things like that. So I owe a lot to him. I get to work with some great people, and I'm glad to see some of my friends making it into Ring of Honor and AEW and NWA and heck, even WWE. So it's been really, really cool to see the hard work pay off for people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sometimes don't know what goes into even just beginning to train for that and to keep that up and carry it on for what? I think their date, most of the dates are 200 days out of the year for the most part, or maybe more. I don't remember.
Yeah, depending on what federation you go with, it's a physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding occupation, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that happen on the front end that people don't even see. People who have been in this business for 20 years and yet to make it to the big leagues, and that's not for lack of talent. That's just, it was told to me a long time ago, you just have to be the right person for the right opportunity at the right time. It doesn't take away the fact that you are an amazing talent. If they don't need that talent, you're not going to fit there,
You're not going to, yeah. Now, I have met some wrestlers over the year. I was fortunate enough to meet Sting, Ric Flair, the Steiner brothers, Paul Heyman. Out of all of them, and I don't know if anybody knows, Paul Heyman is probably the most down-to-earth, most original guy I've ever met. I know he plays a heel and he plays the bad guy, but this man to me was an inspiration just meeting him. Do you find that with some of the and I don't know if you can tell me that, but the heels don't always in real life are a heel, I guess.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I won't throw out any names, but it is very interesting to see how well they play the role and how much of a dichotomy it is from their real life. And when I was getting into it, that's what they said, the nicest guys make the best bad guys, because when you're a good person, what you want to try to avoid, right? So that's why your character is so good. I went and saw a stand-up, sorry, not stand-up comedy, but I can't think of the term right now. Henry Rollins came out and he did a live talk. He did one of his little talk sessions. And I don't know if you're familiar with Henry Rollins or not,
yeah.
But great guy. But he was talking about how he got cast for season 1 of Sons of Anarchy as the white supremacist leader. And the reason is because he hates white supremacy. So he's like, I know everything that pisses me off, so it's gonna make, like, I'm gonna be able to translate it through there. So it is really cool to see when you meet somebody who's that bad guy that's like, oh wow, like you really aren't anything like you portray yourself.
By that, yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you get to play along in any of the, I guess the angles or any of the shoots or anything like that? Are you part of that, or are you just kind of, or the referee's kind of out of it?
So I was actually explaining this the other day when I was helping to do some training, and wrestling is all about storytelling, right? You've got your baby face, who's the protagonist, you have your heel, who's the antagonist, and then you have the referee, who's the narrator. You know, we're helping keep everything in line, and we're helping tell the story, things that I like to do personally that I think maybe people don't even recognize is I like to try to dictate the story for people. Hey, you can't be in the corner. You know that we've gone over these instructions. You need to get out now. You've got till the count of 5. You know, because there's a pet peeve of mine, and that's when the audience is like, hey, ref, do your job. They've got till 5. I know how to do my job.
Yeah,
I'm trained to do my job, right? So I'm going to start telling this story, which also will bleed into if a heel needs to get some heat. I just told him don't do it. If I turn my back and he does it, the crowd sees it, but I don't see it. So therefore now he's got heat, you know, which helps add to that. If I didn't put that out there, maybe half the crowd didn't know, you know? So, so yes, I mean, you get to play into the role, but as far as going into necessarily a storyline, I've never done anything like that personally yet, nor do I really feel like I necessarily want to, because we have a role as a referee, and the workers have the roles as the wrestlers, and you know, there's that separation, if you will. That's just me. If the opportunity came along, you never know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I mean, I just to be just one angle. If I was ever involved in it, just to be one angle would be kind of cool. Just to be that, give some heat, maybe be the bad ref. I don't know if that was me, but that's pretty cool. I envy you as your job goes as far as the referee. But you're not only just a referee, like you said. You're into fitness, and every morning I see wonderful posts and inspirational posts come from you. What got you into the fitness as far as keeping yourself fit and maintaining that with your followers and your crowd that watch you?
So, great question. I've always had an inkling to fitness and health and wellness. My grandparents, who helped raise me when I was younger, they were always into, you know, taking care of their bodies and taking care of their minds and their spirit. And it kind of just bled through. You know, I went through my troubled ages as a teenager, early 20s, you know. And then I started pursuing a career in massage therapy. I've been a massage therapist, a sports massage therapist for 18 years now. And I think it was 2 or 3 years into it, I just started realizing that a reckless lifestyle, maybe a toxic lifestyle, if you will, wasn't a good representation of what it is that if I'm telling people you got to take care of yourself and you've got to eat right and you've got to rest, well, then I should be doing that too. And so back in 2005, I kind of committed myself to more of a straight edge lifestyle. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any recreational drugs. You know, I try to keep myself as clean as I possibly can. I try to stay fit because if I'm going to preach to people that they need to do it, then I've got to be responsible for it as well.
Absolutely.
I've tried every diet that's out there, not for losing weight or anything, but I wanted to experience so that I was aware of it. I've been a power lifter, I've been a CrossFitter, I've dabbled in strongman competition. You know, I've been a runner, I've run a half marathon before. These are all things that I want to do so that I can understand, so that when my clients come in to see me, that
Absolutely.
I can better sympathize and then also give them my recommendations of maybe what helped me. I got certified as a personal trainer. I got a sports nutrition certification. I work with a health and wellness supplement company. You know, all things that I think could better people that just kind of stack on one another. So that way I can at least have a platform to give it my all and hopefully help at least one person out along the way. And I think that's where the morning post comes from too, is just, I wake up every morning and I think about, what's going on in the day. And maybe I've been troubled from the day before, or maybe I'm worried about something the day of.
Yeah.
But it's just something that speaks to my heart. And I figure if I share it with the world, then now the world can hold me accountable because I said it, right? So if I do the exact opposite of it, then you can call me out. You have every right to.
Well, like I said, it's kind of since we've become friends on Facebook and that I look forward to it. I know you have a lot of followers and friends that see it too. So you are an inspiration. Even if you didn't know you hit me, you have hit me, and I appreciate the words that you share with everybody in the morning. So I hope we can continue to be as good, friends that we're talking now that I have met you or sort of in person, if you will. So I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and you can definitely count on it. I tell people all the time, I may not always have the most amount of time in the world, but I'm always available. I'll always find a way to make time. If there needs to be a shoulder to cry on, somebody to vent to, somebody to just have conversation because maybe something just doesn't seem to be right or whatever. Like I always try to make myself available for people because I think that we unfortunately live in more of a world that's egoistic these days than it is altruistic, and it's really hard to find people because we're always afraid of being judged or being categorized by, oh well, you're in this crew, so I can't, I can't, even if I kind of like you, I can't, because then maybe the other people that I see it all the time, I don't have time for it. Like we're here for a very finite amount of time, and we have to optimize that. And we should have the mindset to make the world a better place, at least better than when we came into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that gets capitulated by our actions. That's what we do personally every single day is going to be a reflection of how we're treated. I feel, at least.
I agree 100%. One last question before we get off. If somebody was looking to get into either the professional wrestling career or the referee, what would they need to do?
First and foremost, find yourself a legitimate school wherever you're at, wherever you may be. There's schools all around. Here in the Carolinas, there's a lot of great schools. I'm always going to be partial to Bob Keller and John Schuyler, the ones that trained me, and that's where I help train right now. And we've got a great group of people. But there's plenty of schools out there everywhere. Just do your research and find out about it, because there are people out there that, unfortunately aren't too legitimate. So,
Right.
Look at their history, look at their record, look at where they were trained, look at what their results are, just ask around. But get into that and be ready. I shouldn't say be willing, be ready to sacrifice, because it takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of your time, it takes a lot of your energy, it takes a lot of your finances. It's not the easiest thing in the world, and that's why not everybody does it.
Right.
So just be prepared. Honestly, just be prepared.
All right, Joe. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll get back for another show. Just wanted to get people introduced to you. Hopefully, we'll do another one down the road. Like I said, it's been a pleasure getting to talk with you finally, and I like to learn new things and hear exciting and amazing stories that people get to do with their lives. So I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, we'll get to do another one down the road, buddy.
Oh, dude, I would be so grateful for that. I'm looking forward to it, man.
I got one question for me. Where do I catch your shows, or where do I catch the NWA at, or is it YouTube, or can I?
Yeah. So NWA is on Fight TV. It's $4.99 a month, and that's all the content that we have on a regular episodic TV. So you're going to get your power surges, you're going to get your power, and then they have some special shows that kind of pop up here and there. And then, of course, Fight hosts the pay-per-views. So that's where you can find NWA. That's where you can find all the action that I'll be a part of with NWA. When it comes to local, you can always check all my social medias. I always post where I'm going to be at for the weekend. We've got one coming up this Sunday in Columbia, South Carolina. If anybody's interested in it, it's at Pollywogs. I believe the bell time is 5 p.m. It's an outdoor show, and there's going to be a steel cage match. Nothing like live pro wrestling.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe I'll get out to the Carolina sometime and come catch a show. But I appreciate you. We'll do another show, and thank you so much for coming on.
All right, my friend. Have a great evening.
You too. All right, ladies and
Take
gentlemen,
care.
that was Jarrod. What a great show! Like I said, since I started A Dash of Life, I have met some amazing people, some that get to do some amazing jobs, and I'm hoping to meet more and more as this goes along. So, thank you everybody for watching. If there's somebody that you want to get on just to show off their talents, please do it. Jarrod is a great guy. Like I said, I love listening to it or looking at his morning post. A very inspirational gentleman, and I'm glad that we were connected. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for coming out tonight and watching. Tomorrow night we'll have NFL show, Chalk Talk, if you will, with Eric Embry and myself. Wednesday, we got Tori Robinson from a Twitch channel. He'll be coming on Wednesday. And then Thursday night, make sure you catch the Red River Football Show. Vern and I have got a lot to talk about. And I might lose my head over some comments and some stuff that I'm hearing, not only on Facebook, but on sports radio and just in general. So check back with us. Love you guys for coming out. And remember what I say every show. Take care of yourselves, love one another, and I'll see you next show.